Hi people. I enjoy sometimes giving you mainstream media French updates and doing them very extemporaneously. This one popped up on my Yahoo.fr page while I was switching channels or something. The source is 20minutes.fr, which is 20minutes.fr, which is a free magazine widely put basically in public transportation here in France. And their concept is that you can read the whole thing in 20 minutes, so you can read it on your commute. Now, I've only glanced at this in advance, and I'm going to try to go over it with you and do a quick on-the-spot translation. Now, Mediator, Servier is pursuing a defamation claim against the newspaper Libération. Libération is a really great newspaper. It's not doing well in recent years, and it's really a shame because it's a very, very good source. When I first moved to France, I really found it really much too difficult to read. It was way way too complicated for me. But I recommend it. I find it very good. You know, they still have real journalism there and stuff. You know, in the United States, what are you going to do? Read Rolling Stone? That's just about all I do. All right, now. Justice. In an article consecrated to Protelos, another laboratory medicine, the Servier laboratories are undertaking a defamation lawsuit before a Paris court system, and they are complaining about Libération, and I think also a PS député, that's a deputy, I don't remember what that means, named Gérard Bapt, for articles and things they have said related to a scandal in connection with, I think it's a medicine called Mediator, according to a citation which has appeared on AFP and which just came out today, Sunday, October 30th, 2011. This direct citation targets the director of the publication of Libération, Nicolas Demorand, the journalist Yann Philippin, the Libération SARL, which is kind of an incorporation of limited responsibility, and the deputy named Gérard Bapt, who is I think président de la mission d'information parlementaire, parliamentary, sort of like a DA, about, it's a different legal system over here, don't take my word for it, I'm still learning about it, about Mediator, which will, something will happen on the 6th of January 2012 in front of the 17th Correctional Chamber of the TGI of Paris. According to this text of this direct citation, Servier is accusing Libération in its edition of September 7th, 2011, of dedicating another medication to the laboratory, giving another medication to the laboratory, Protelos, which minimized the effets secondaires, how do you say that in English? Side effects of having énoncé une série d'imputations qui sont très gravement defamatory. Okay, it's defamatory, and they feel that it's against the Servier laboratories. Gravely defamatory. Nicolas Demorand, in an editorial, had written that Servier had done lies and manipulations on the economic model of the type which, according to Mediator, is henceforth protelos, which is causing the scandal. I'm not sure what that means, you know. I'm reading this along with you. In an interview with Libération, Deputy Bapt had declared that the laboratory, Servier Laboratories, had sought to minimize the side effects of protelos, such to the point where they were basically falsifying. Some patients died. Whoa! Very bad. Very bad. Okay. And the Député Payes had accused Servier of developing perverse methods, and not only by Mediator. So I don't know anything more. You know, I just stumbled upon this, and I've got to look into it more. But I do know that in 2008, after I was getting over a very serious illness, they perceived that I was depressed, which I probably was, and along with a drug called Excel, which I was given, I consented to take a drug called Abilify. I think it has a Japanese source. And actually, I felt pretty good, you know, but I had recovered my health, so I would feel good anyway. But after 6 months on the Abilify, I developed a condition called tardive akathisia. And I really think that the doctor who prescribed this drug to me really had been misled. There were some claims about this in France, that the manufacturer had not told doctors about bad side effects. Tardive akathisia is very bad, and basically, you know, the damage is irreparable. And the drug Excel, it was kind of interesting about that. You know, it may have helped a little bit with what was going on with me, but I really feel that what worked for me better was talk therapy directly, group therapy, and it's not easy for me in French. I live in France. And, you know, learning some coping strategies and just getting my life healthier, if that makes any sense to you. And what happened was the doctors who were treating me seemed to completely forget that I was on the Abilify, and my depression was quite short-term. And I was kept on it for 2 years, and that was really unnecessary. I really think that a lot of these drugs, you know, something like, you know, they're a Band-Aid solution. They're very toxic, and we should be looking at, you know, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. That's kind of maximum. And I really feel that people need more practical support if they're not feeling well. It's fairly easy to do with 3 hots and a cot, you know, getting people out of their, possibly their very sick home and work situation for a period of time. Not locked up in a nut house, but, you know, perhaps in a maison de santé, which we have here in France. Really, I have found sitting in on group therapy sessions very, very useful in France. The language is difficult for me, and actually I've been declared for quite some time not mentally ill, but I was allowed to sit in on some groups about depression and bipolar disorder and alcoholism. And I found these useful. I enjoyed listening to other people. I either said something or I didn't. Usually I just listened. And by working over a long period of time here, I have found dealing with mostly psychologists, because, psychiatrists over here, like in the States, I find pretty much just, write prescriptions and don't spend much time talking with you. But there are exceptions. The psychologists, it's really, there's no medicine involved here in France. There's a fruit fly going by. And when they get to know you, and to some extent you get to know them, it can be useful. I know it is kind of a drag to get out and do this on a regular basis, but I haven't found it all great, neither here in France, where I've had some problems, nor in the United States, but it's something to think about. Usually a pill is, I'm just really not for them at this point in my life. They can be kind of a panic button thing to push, but, when I got post-traumatic stress disorder at the beginning of my 4th year here in France, which is extremely typical for immigrants all around the world, thank heaven I stumbled upon a local doctor whose wife is an immigrant from Cambodia, and he recognized right away what was going on, and he just put me on a very mild tranquilizer for 6 weeks and told me, this is what's happening. It seems to me like, post-traumatic stress disorder. Take this mild pill for 6 weeks, but frankly, if you don't feel better after this, you should come back and see me, and you may need to see a psychiatrist or something, And I did get better, and I was very, very reassured. And he spoke to my husband also, and said that for a period of time when his wife went quite nuts, he didn't even know her. She was just unglued. It's called le contre-coup here in France. It's like the aftershock. And everybody had noticed here how well I had done with immigration and how happy I seemed despite, the harsh conditions in which I had to live. And when things settled down and I fell into life here, there was a delayed after effect. This stuff is real. Often I think that people need some care and attention, not babying, just kind of, 3 hots and a cot, herbal tea, no strong medicines, stuff like that, and somebody to talk to them and get to know where they're at, because it could be very well that they have some underlying actual physical and psychological or psychiatric problems or family problems, social problems, which are contributing to the mess. And those have got to be sorted out. So I'm sorry this is a little bit sketchy, but I did the best I could to tell you about this. And I think this stuff is very interesting. And I would advise people who are on pills, probably talk to your doctor and try to get off of them. I'm on almost nothing right now. I don't even take Claritin for allergies anymore. I just take Idarac 3 times a day and 2 things for a destroyed esophagus, acid reflux sort of thing, and ulcers, and I'm usually able to treat those fairly well with hemp oil and raw cabbage juice. But I do make a huge effort to educate doctors here in France, which is not easy because it's not my mother tongue, and to work with people. And I encourage you to do the same. All right,